Let me tell you about the life I live, right? Better known as the baller life. It's not. I'm all about my baller status, just doing it big on a daily basis, like cruising in my car, chilling at the bar. What's up, YouTube? This is James from Ballin' on a Budget Auto. So today I'm finally back with you with the Mustang. Yes, the Mustang, the one I've been talking about, the one I've been posting about on a daily basis on Instagram. Now, if you don't have me on Instagram, go ahead and check me out, follow me, see what's up. So the Mustang that I have is a 99 3.8 liter V6 automatic. I got this beast. Well, I mean, it's a base, but hey, it's still good. I'll take it. I've always wanted a Mustang, so I got it. So I got this car off a good buddy of mine a few months back. So when I got this thing checked out at the shop, ain't like I don't trust my friend or anything, but it's just what I do before getting any car. Cause plain and simple, it ain't my car. So I don't know how well this car was taken care of, and apparently not so well, you know, but hey, I'll cut him some slack. Because his ex was the one that was driving this car into the ground. Man, when I tell you she was trying to drive this thing till the wheels fell off, I'm talking literally like, damn. Shop went hard in the paint on this thing, saying that it needs transmission work, it has a suspected oil leak, it's got rusted out rear calipers, it's got rusted out front wheel bearings, it's got struts that need to be replaced. I mean, driving this thing, I mean, now that I've gotten it like somewhat drivable, like as you're driving, it feels like the front wheel's about to fall off. Like I'm saying, like fall the fuck off, like all the way off. I don't know. I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna get it rolling. The fuel pump was failing. You driving around just like, you know, you don't even know how much gas is in the car. You're just like, you know, I guess I got 100 more miles. I don't know. So I had to fix that. Oil change was like 7,000 miles over. Like, I mean, maybe she thought like the car just like, I don't know, like the oil lasted the life of the vehicle. I don't know. Who knows? I have no idea. And all 4 tires were bald as a motherfucker. I'm talking bald. Like, you know, I mean, I ain't got no hair, but that's okay. I make it look good, but the tires, you know, I ain't safe. You know, all pads are down to the metal. All rotors are grooved. You know, I'm talking like grooved, like hard. Like I was driving this car on the way, like trying to get this car home, and it was like, you know, metal, you know, it was embarrassing as hell. You know, I'm willing to put the work in, so I'm more than happy to be working on this and get it to where I want it to be, you know. So the video today, we're going to be concentrating on the rear calipers, pads, and rotors on a Mustang between the years of 99 to 04. So I'm super hyped about this Mustang restoration because I'm going to treat myself with this one. Everything that I put in it is going to be yellow, you know, like Trinidad James, all gold every time. I'm going to quit fooling. And let's go ahead and get on our rear calipers, pads, and rotors. Let's get this. Let's go ahead and jack the car up. And then we'll place down some jack stands. Then we'll lower it down on our jack stands. And now that we got the car jacked up, we're gonna go ahead and take off this plate. There we are. And the size of our lug nuts are 21 millimeter. Looks like the previous owner broke off a stud. Go ahead and take the tire off and put it off to the side. So we're working on replacing this rear caliper, the brakes, the rotors, and then we'll also put a new rim on the end. So it's gonna be looking good. Looking at our rear caliper, we got a bolt right here that's a 15 millimeter, and also at the bottom, that is also 15 millimeter. I wanted to show you a better view of the two bolts that hold in the caliper. This is 15 millimeters, the top one, and also 15 millimeter on the bottom. These are the two that hold the caliper bracket in. This is what it looks like after you take off the caliper clamshell. So the bolts on the clamshell are 14 millimeter. Let's go ahead and loosen up the bottom one. This is rusted on there pretty good. There we go. Went ahead and got those brake pads out. So I'm actually gonna bolt this back up so I can get out the brake line. In order to get this park brake line off, there's a clip in there. So I gotta get a flathead screwdriver in there and pop it off. There's that clip. And using some pliers, gripping onto the end and prying it out and sliding it through. Go ahead and let go of it and let it compress back. Okay, well now there's nothing holding it steady. I'm gonna go ahead and give it some hits with a pry bar and a hammer. Now I'm able to pull my parking brake line out. So now all I gotta do is take out these two 15mm bolts that hold the caliper to this splash shield. Using my breaker bar, we're gonna get that on there and loosen it. There we go. We'll go ahead and loosen it. And there's our top bolt. We're gonna keep that. Attaching our breaker bar to the bottom bolt, we're gonna loosen it up. There we go. There's our bottom bolt. Now the entire caliper will slide right out, but we're gonna find something to prop this caliper on so we don't damage the brake line. So I got these toolboxes stacked up here so I can put our caliper on it. So that gives us enough slack to where it doesn't damage the brake line. So we're gonna go ahead and take off our rotor. Slides right off. I'll come back on another video and replace the stud, but we're gonna go ahead and put on our new rotor. Then we're gonna use two of our lug nuts to lock it in place. There we are. Then we're gonna go ahead and install our new caliper. There we are. The banjo bolt on the old caliper is 10mm, so we're gonna break that. Now with that 10mm bolt broke, it's already leaking fluid, so let's go ahead and loosen it up more. Then we'll go ahead and transfer it to our new caliper. Now with our brake line attached to our new caliper, we're gonna go ahead and lock it down. There we go, it's on there nice and tight. We'll go ahead and open up our clamshell. I'm going to install our clip. So there's one installed. We'll go ahead and get our new brake pads. Put one on the inside. And then one on our outside. There we go. Let's go ahead and reattach our clamshell bolts. Now with our 14mm, we're going to go ahead and tighten that up. Now our clamshell is nice and tight. Now we just got to secure the back two bolts. There we are. And then lastly, we have to secure our parking brake line. We're going to bend it back a little bit. And then feed it through that hole. We'll go ahead and pull on the end and wrap it around and into this. There we go. Using a pry bar, I'm gonna knock it in, get right on the edge, get some force to get into the hole. That's what she said. Almost. And now that we got the parking brake line all the way in, we're gonna go put the clip back in. And there we are. Now the last job we got to do is bleed the brakes. So right here is our bleeder valve. It's at 10mm. We're going to go ahead and crack that. First we're going to gravity bleed it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the front of the vehicle and take off our master cylinder cap. And as I take off the master cylinder, it's going to go ahead and flow out and we'll stop it. Go under the hood. Here's our master cylinder. I'm going to go ahead and loosen that and leave the cap off. There we go. As you can tell, it started to drain out already through that bleeder valve. So let's go ahead and get our self bleeder attached. Okay, using my own homemade bleeder. With that syrup, y'all be sipping on that syrup. I'm gonna go ahead and attach that to our bleeder valve. There we go. Got it loosened up, and I'm gonna go ahead and get in the car and start bleeding the brakes. Now that there's no more air bubbles up here, we're going to go ahead and tighten it up. There we go, got it clamped off. And there we go. So like I said, we're gonna go ahead and change out that stud in a different video, but we're gonna go ahead and put our brand new rim and tire on. So since our rims are gonna be staggered, there's gonna be 17.8 in the front and 17.9 in the back. So I'm gonna need this tire spacer. So we're gonna go ahead and line up this tire spacer. There's that. That's just so there's no rubbing with the width of this tire. We're gonna go ahead and line up our rim to the studs. There we are. Let's go ahead and lightly hand tighten these in. So before we drop it down, we're gonna lightly tighten it up. So let's go ahead and lower the car off the jack stands. Now that the car is down to the ground, we're going to torque this down to specs. So for Mustangs between 99 and 04, they require that you torque the lug nuts down to 80 to 90 foot-pounds. I went ahead and dialed in our 86 just so we're not over tightening it or under tightening it. And we're going to go ahead and torque this down. So we're going to do our best to do a crisscross pattern, even though we have one of our studs broken off. There we go, and I like to go through it one more time just to make sure. It's a lot of time, it'll loosen up. This is a perfect example as to why you should use a torque wrench instead of, let's say, an impact wrench. That's probably what broke off this stud. But, I mean, that's just a guess of mine. I mean, when you torque it down too hard, you can break that wheel stud. And there we are. We are torqued down to 86 foot-pounds. And that's a job well done. Man, that rim is looking good. All that's looking good. All right, so we are one step closer to making this Mustang drivable. I'm excited to be putting all of this work into it. If you can't tell, I like yellow. If you can't tell, I mean, hey, that's my color right there. I mean, that's that. That's that for today. I hope this video is helpful. If so, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. I'd appreciate it. And if you want to continue to see the latest content from Ballin' on a Budget Auto, go ahead and subscribe. All right, guys, stay tuned. I hope this video is helpful. If so, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing so you can see more content from Ballin' on a Budget Auto.